I'm here in the Canvas Court Brands studio. It's not really a studio, it's just kind of a spare office, but let's pretend, let's call it the studio. And if you don't recall, I recently went to work for Canvas Court Brands part-time, doing some of their social media and marketing and really just whatever needs to be done. And we moved here to Northwest Arkansas, so I get to come into the office every day and play with the stuff. So that's where I am today, and as part of my job I figured out that I have a need for a few file folders. I could go to the store and spend a few pennies on some file folders. You know, easy to do, they're not expensive, I could take care of that. Or I can make my own. Which one do you think I did? That's right, I made my own. These are super simple. I'm going to show you how, or I'm really just going to kind of tell you how, because it's a no-brainer, I promise. But they're great. I mean, look. And I used, of course, 7 Gypsies papers, scrapbook papers. You can use any scrapbook paper you have on hand. I would recommend using the kind that's like a heavy cardstock weight, not the really skinny, flimsy kind, because you know, it's a folder. You want it to hold your skinny, flimsy papers, right? So use the heavier kind. You're just going to need 2 sheets. Any 2 sheets of whatever 12 by 12 scrapbook paper you want. Now, I'm going to give you the measurements I use. These are pretty close to a standard sized letter size file folder, but they're not exact. If you want it exact, you're going to have to make some adjustments, but this worked for me. I like this size. It, you know, if you have a designated place where you put file folders, it may be a little too long. You know, you may have to adjust, but for my purposes and where I put them, it works. So these are the instructions and measurements I'm going to give you. Adjust as necessary. Okay, 2 sheets of paper, right? You're going to have 1 sheet will be the back of your file folder that folds up. You're not going to cut this. This stays 12 by 12. You're going to score it. I'll show you where to score it. And it does this. Makes the bottom of your folder. Then you're going to take your second sheet, which can be coordinating from the paper pad. It can be a whole different brand. I think it's fun to kind of mix and match, and this is also a great way to use up some of those papers in your paper pad that you're like not real crazy about, because there's at least one in every pad. Am I right? You buy the pad because you love all of the papers except that one. There's always that one. There's a good use for that one. Okay, this one gets folded up. Your second sheet is going to get cut. Then it's going to attach to this little flap that you folded, and don't panic. I sewed mine simply because there's a sewing machine sitting right here in the studio. You don't have to sew. You can glue. Anything that I sew, just substitute the word glue and you're in good shape. I would use a good sticky glue like Tombo's Monomulti liquid adhesive. Monomulti, is that what it is? Tombo's Monomulti liquid glue. You know, I use this a lot. Beacon's 3-in-1, Helmar 450, just something really super grabby like that, because it won't buckle the paper and it will hold well. So you can do that, or you can sew. So let's get started. Okay, this is what we're making. I'll try to remember to take some close-up pictures and put in here so you can see. You're going to start with your 2 sheets. And I should probably get 2 sheets. Okay, I have all prepared except for step 1. Okay, be right back. Got it. 2 sheets of 12 by 12 cardstock weight scrapbook paper, 2-sided. Okay, cut off the little brand tabs if your particular paper has brand tabs. I'm using just one of these paper trimmers. You use whatever you like to trim paper with. Now you can decide which side you want for the front, which for the back. I'm thinking I want this for the very front of my file folder. So this will be the piece that gets cut. And then for the back, I think I want this, and I want it folded up like that. Okay, does that make sense? Probably not, I'll show you. Alright, this is going to be the back part of my file folder. I don't cut this. This one I just score. So I'm going to put it on my little cutter thing and measure. This is the direction that I want up. So I want to score right here. I'm going to lay this down, and I'm going to measure 9 3/4 inches. Okay? 9 3, come on in. 9 3/4, and then I'm going to score at 9 3/4. Just like that. Now I'm going to make 2 more score lines coming this way, up the back of the sheet, not on the tab, on the back side. This was 9 3/4, so I'm going to scoot over 1/8 of an inch to 9 5/8, then another 1/8 of an inch to 9 1/2. And that's going to give just a little width at the bottom of the folder so that it's not flat, you know, so you can put more than one piece of paper in there. So I scored it 9 3/4. Now I'm going to move it over 1/8 of an inch to 9 5/8, and another 1/8 of an inch to 9 1/2. This is totally optional. If you just want yours flat and don't want to put much in it, you don't have to do all this scoring, but I'm going to put stuff in mine. So I'm now going to crease my score lines, really just the first and the third. Why even make that second one? I don't know. I just did it the first time and then started doing it every time after that, and now it doesn't feel right if I don't do it. So I scored it at the 9 3/4, and now I'm just going to pull it up and not score it, crease it at the 9 1/2. So basically what that gives me is a little 1/4 inch gusset, sort of, on the bottom, so that I can hold more than one sheet of paper. That's all that does. Now, after I do that, I'm going to cut my second sheet, this one, to size. And I'm going to decide which side do I want up. I like this side. I like it like this. And I don't want to cut off this top part. That's what I like. So I'm going to make my cut down here at the bottom. And this one is going to measure 8 3/4. It is an inch shorter than our first score line that we made here. Okay, 8 3/4, and then I'm just going to cut off this piece, and boy, I'm not going to throw that away because we can use it. I'll show you. Alright, so now I have my pieces cut for my folder. Okay, next, what you want to do is attach your front to your back, right? So what I did, I just used a couple of paper clips to hold it. Now, okay, you've got these 3 score lines. You want to make sure that your paper is attached to the first score line that you made, the 9 3/4. You know, don't, because see, you want to make sure that on the back you still have your other 2 score lines here so that this can do its thing. So make sure you don't glue your paper to this back score line. You want it to the front. This will probably make more sense when you have it cut and you look at it. You'll understand what I'm saying. So I've clipped it right there where I want it on the top score line. The other 2 are underneath it, and at this point you can glue across here, you can sew across here, you know, whatever. You can use double stick tape, whatever it takes to stick that together. Okay, now remember that piece that we cut off, this little piece, And now, of course, you can throw this in your scrap pile and keep it for other projects. It's like 3 1/4 inches wide, so not wide enough this way for an ATC, but you can cut it this way for an ATC. Or you can take it, and after you've already attached your front and back covers together, you got this little situation happening, you can make a pocket. You can sew or glue it right there. You can put it up here. I wouldn't do that on this particular one because it'll cover her face. But you can just attach it on the sides and across the bottom, and then you have a little pocket. Cool, right? And by the way, if you sew, you don't have to worry about being neat and straight. And I even left my threads hanging because I wanted to make it clear that it was supposed to be messy on purpose. But it is. No one has to know. If you leave the threads, like, oh, it's supposed to be casual and messy. It's not that she can't sew. Psych. So here is a finished one where I sewed the two together. This piece right here was my little extra cutoff piece, I think from a different paper pattern. I just, you know, used random ones. But it made this extra pocket where I can stick notes. And then here's my folder part. So you can like customize your whole office with paper products and stationery and folders and files in your choice of cute decorative papers, and way cheaper than buying a pack of those cute printed file folders, you know, that they have out now that are just great. But most of us have some scrapbook paper on hand that we can use. So there you go. For labels, you have options. Do whatever you want. There is on the Canvas Corp website shop, there is in the sales section some labels. This is called Classic Reef, and that's what I used on here. There's some little bitty ones, and then there's a couple of bigger ones. You can use that. You can use regular file folder labels. You can use, what else did I use? Oh, on this one, I just used some paper tape. You can use paper tape, washi tape, whatever that doesn't have a real busy pattern so that you can write on it. Also in the sale shop at Canvas Corp, there are these metal, I don't know what you call these. Where's the package? Vintage label holder, I guess. So it took a little bit of surgery because it's made to like go on a box or a drawer or something. So I had to bend a piece of it down, but that's all it took. Bend it down, and then you can slide it here and you can put a label there if you want a little metal thing. So lots of options for labels. Think outside the box. You can do regular file folder labels, but why would you when you can do something like this? Okay, so that is my project of the day. Oh, I almost forgot. I rounded my corners. You can do this after you're finished. You can do it before you sew. This one I did before I sewed because I had several pieces that I wanted to round. And what I used is actually kind of a cool thing that's new to me. I'm going to show you. Let's take one of these I've not yet assembled. Let's do this one. This one's pretty. Soft colors. That one's going to be nice, isn't it? Okay. Also, in the Canvas Corp brand shop, on the clearance rack, which you know is my favorite place to shop, they have this thing called the Paper Gator. It is basically a corner rounder, a heavy-duty corner rounder. And by heavy-duty, I mean you can do a stack of papers. Wouldn't it be great if I had a stack? Here's a stack. Okay, this is cardstock, pretty heavy cardstock, craft colored, and 8 sheets of heavy cardstock. And I'm going to use the Paper Gator. I'll have to give a good demo, close-up demo on this, but I mean I just barely pulled the lever. and it just rounded right through them like it was nothing. So, you know, you can use any corner rounder you have. You have a punch or the, you know, the crocodile has the corner thing. What's it called? Well, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. You can use that if you want your corners rounded. Or you can use this little guy. Stack your papers. Let's do this one, because it's going to be like this. And if I want both of those corners rounded, I'm just going to stick that in there like that. Make sure I am lined up. And it just rounds beautifully. And it actually comes with, I think, 4 different blades, so you can get different roundnesses. You know, this is like the really round, and then some of them are a little more pointy, but they're still round. You know what I'm saying? So it has accessories that it comes with. This little tray is actually in the machine, and it has your extra blades, and then that's the cutting plate where the blade cuts down. It gives you those. So I have to do, if you're interested, let me know. I'll do a whole demo on this. But this, you know, if you need a heavy duty corner rounder, it's pretty much all it does. It rounds corners. But if you make a lot of books and you need to go through a lot of pages, this is great. And I think it's maybe $15 on the sale on the clearance rack. It was originally $50. So it's a good buy. And we have quite a few of them. It's that situation where when they're gone, they're gone. So if you want them, get busy. Okay, is that it? I think that's it. Yeah. Okay, hopefully I'll remember to do some pictures that I'll put up so you can take a look up close at what we did. And then you can beautify your office, your home office, your desk, your school folders, you know, whatever. Just prettify your world. Okay, that's all I got. The end.